Hello.
Hi. Waiting on the judge to come on. We'll be getting started
Okay.
in a minute now.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah, she can see me. I think. Donna, let them talk.
You can don't mute here. You can unmute and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Hmm?
Hey, we can hear you.
All right. We'll go ahead and get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Judge Regina Mincy, and we are going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrests, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we are going to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and or a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. Ms. Bridgewater, what's our reset date?
February the 14th, Valentine's Day.
No, wow. Okay. All right. So our reset date is February the 14th. And that will be for the SAP calendar. I'm going to also begin to advise everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. I want to also remind the defendants on this calendar that you do have certain constitutional rights. The first one being that you have a right to representation or counsel at this point. Most of you should know who your attorneys are, and please listen to them. You also have another constitutional right, which is you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. So again, listen to your attorneys and govern yourselves accordingly. All right, deputies, who do we have first?
Position number 4.
Could be for the this is not COVID, someone else.
There's someone who's not muted. Thank you. You're not told to be speaking. Make sure your cell phones or your computers are muted. Thank you. You said position 4.
Ma'am.
All right, Mr. Bryant, and that's 23 CR 000656G. You're charged with 1 count of battery and a 2nd count of criminal trespass damage to property. The offense date is October the 29th, 2022. Pre-trial?
Give me one moment.
Okay.
All right, check your chat.
All right, let's see. Okay, thank you.
Hold on. Okay, let me do the rest of the history.
Okay,
26 total. Last arrest was back in May 2021. Robbery by force, battery. 2020 battery. Trespass conviction from 2014. 2013 probation. 2013 theft by taken. 2012 probation. 2011 probation. So he got open cases for the battery and robbery by force. State, I told her to arrest from 1986, just so you know. Nothing further.
all right, and I will not mention that on the Zoom. All right, and whose case is this? Is this PD? I'm sorry, ASG.
Yes, ma'am. This is my case. Good afternoon.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Lewis, go ahead.
So this incident occurred on October 29th at 1012 Spark Street. Officers responded to this location and met with Carl McCrary. McCrary stated that Bryant struck her in the right eye with a closed hand, causing swelling and a red eye. And Ms. McCrary also stated that her glasses broke during this attack. She has known Bryant for the last 5 years as they are friends. Your Honor, this is the 4th incident in 3 years with the same victim, so the state is very concerned about that. Currently, Mr. Bryant is violating his conditions that are in place for no further contact and to stay away from Ms. McCrary, and that last bond was set on January 9th of this year. For this reason, the state is recommending a $7,500 cash bond, and that'll be split between the 2 charges. no further contact, and to stay away from Ms. McCrary, and 1 day of anger awareness.
Is there a stay away?
Yes, ma'am, to stay away.
And what is that address again?
1012 Spark Street, Southwest.
All right, PD?
Good morning, Judge. I
morning.
think the prosecutor said that Mr. Bryant was violating his no contact from January the 9th, 2023 of this year. But this charge happened on 10/29/2022. I'm not aware of any additional charges since this incident with the alleged victim in this case. Mr. Bryant said that he has no contact as of right now. He does live in Georgia. He's lived in Georgia for over 30 years. He's been living at the same home address for the last 30 years, but he's been living in Georgia for his entire life. He did graduate from college and he finished the 12th grade. We're asking the court, based on his financial circumstances, one with his felony bond situation, not having a, from the time I spoke to him, I'm not sure if he's gotten one this morning, but the time I spoke to him, he did not have a felony bond for one of his charges. I do believe there was a $10,000 bond on the simple battery charge that he had in felony court. So based on the bonds that he already does and does not have in felony court, he is not able to afford a high bond. At this time, we're asking the court, based on the age of this charge, he hasn't, again, I don't believe had anything since, and from the information that I have, he doesn't appear to have more than 2 failure to appears in his history. So we're asking the court to grant a signature bond, but if the court is not inclined to grant a signature bond, we're asking $4,000 good bond.
And Your Honor, I did misspeak. His last case that I'm showing open was in 2021, and the bond conditions on that were to stay away and no further contact with Ms. McCrary, which he is violating.
All right. I'm going to order a $7,500 surety bond. And so that will be for each of the charges, 3,750 for each charge. I'm going to order stay away from 1012 Spark Street Southwest. I'm going to order no further contact with Carla McQuarrie in any shape, form, or fashion, with all the boxes checked on the bond sheet. No social media contact, no contact with third parties. No emails, nothing. I'm going to also order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that will be it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing
All right.
further.
Thank you.
Position number 14, Robinson.
And good afternoon, Judge. Attorney Shill Watson on behalf of Mr. Robinson.
All right, thank you, counsel. This is 23 CR 0000668G. Mr. Robinson is charged with 1 count of battery family violence and a second charge of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. The offense date is September the 10th, 2022. Pretrial.
13 total. Last arrest was 2020. Cruelty in the 3rd. Ag assault family violence. That's 2 counts. 2 counts of simple battery family violence. 1 count trespass. That's 22 SC 185529. We got a bench warrant on those. 2017 probation. 2016 theft by taking and entering auto. He was given 4 years probation for the entering auto. That should have expired in 2020. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana, 2015, 2012 obstruction conviction. In 2012, he was arrested for robbery, but he was sentenced in 2017 to 6 years, 6 months probation. So that should still be on out of Gwinnett. And I think that is it.
Okay. All right, ASG Dillingham.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident occurred on September 10th, 2022, when officers were dispatched to 7840 Roswell Road, the victim Tiara Martin's residence. There, they learned that after a verbal argument escalated, the defendant ended up throwing the victim, Tiara Martin, to the ground in front of their child. After finally getting a chance to escape the defendant, Miss Martin was able to call for a Uber, where she began putting her child in the back seat. And in the midst of so, the defendant began to strike Miss Martin in the back of her head multiple times, so badly that the Uber driver had to get out of the car and get involved to get the defendant to stop. The Uber driver was able to drive Miss Martin to the police, and the defendant followed their car until they arrived to the station. And if those facts aren't egregious enough, this incident occurred while the defendant was out on bond for another case, as pretrial mentioned, against the same victims, Tiara Martin and their child, Kaya Robinson, where the defendant was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, family violence, 1 count aggravated assault, 2 counts of simple battery, a count of cruelty to children in the 3rd, and criminal trespass. And a no further contact was ordered to stay away from Miss Martin. And as we are here, that contact order was violated, and that bond of $28,000 was revoked. So for those reasons, the state is recommending an $8,000 cash bond, no further contact with Tiara Martin, a stay away order from that address, 7840 Roswell Road, and third-party contact for their child.
How old is the child?
The child is 3, Joe.
She is
Thank you.
3 years old, Your Honor.
And I'm going to refer to the child as initials KR. All right, Mr. Watson.
Thank you, Judge. Respectfully, the state has gotten some of the facts slightly askew. The police were not dispatched to the home. Miss Martin did leave the house in an Uber and went to a police station where she made a report. There was a motion to revoke bond initiated by the DA's office yesterday, and during that hearing, the DA's office had an opportunity to put the Uber driver up as a witness. They did not do so. Miss Martin was placed on the stand, and when asked by me about the facts as alleged, she either recanted or she said that she didn't recall making the allegations as stated in the police report and by law enforcement. So I think we've got an issue of a conflict on the facts here. Nevertheless, I acknowledge the fact that the no contact order that was issued by Judge Coates for his felony case was violated. The only thing I'd point out is that that violation was the result of the alleged victim, Ms. Martin, making contact with my client, Mr. Robinson, and saying in court yesterday that they did, in fact, have a relationship. This is not to denote the seriousness of the crime or the allegations, just giving the court some context. With that in mind, I would ask that the court give Mr. Robinson a $5,000 surety bond and initiate a no contact order, but have third-party contact for purposes of him being able to visit with and see his child. There's been no allegation of actual physical violence against the minor child.
And Your Honor, if I may briefly, regardless of what is allegedly to have occurred at this hearing, this witness in this case did give a statement to officers that he witnessed the defendant beating or striking, my apologies, Miss Martin in the back of the head multiple times before she got in the car with her child. And so any allegations of the hearing yesterday does not negate these allegations.
Well, I'm not alleging anything happened at the hearing, Judge. I'm simply pointing out that this alleged witness who was there and subpoenaed was not placed on the stand.
Well, you also said that she recanted or misspoke. You didn't really clarify what was said, and regardless.
No. I'm talking about two different people. There's the Uber driver who was there and elected or was not chosen by the state to get on the stand and testify. And then I'm talking about Ms. Martin, who, and there's a transcript of this, who recanted or said that she didn't recall the allegations that were made by the law enforcement. That's all. That's the only thing I'm saying now.
Regardless, all still irrelevant to the facts of today's case.
How can you say it's irrelevant? It's perfectly relevant.
Well, but I thought Ms. Dillingham was going to remind us about the cycles of violence and the victims usually recanting or afraid to testify truthfully in court with the defendant sitting there.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
am aware of that.
And the victim in this case has stated that she is in fear for her life and her safety, as the defendant has evidently not taken the previous no further contact order seriously, which is why the state has requested a cash bond.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else, counsel?
The only thing I'll say, Judge, about the no contact, the violation of the no contact provision is that in this case, it seems to have taken two to tango. And the victim has, again, or the alleged victim has not indicated to anyone in the past 2 years that she's been contacted by my client, Mr. Roberts, in violation of the order. And as far as the cycle of violence argument, Judge, I can appreciate that. I just wish you had let the prosecutor make that argument instead.
Right. Well, I want to make sure that our victims are protected.
Absolutely.
And so, and we have a 3-year-old here, a minor, and I'm certainly not going to order any visitation. There's a cruelty charge here, and I think the allegations are that this happened in front of the child. So what I'm going to do regarding the bond is I'm going to order the $8,000 cash bond based on the allegations that I've heard. I'm going to, and that will be 4,000 I'm sorry, 6,000 on the battery, 2,000 on the cruelty. And those will both be cash bonds. I'm going to also order no further contact with Tierra Martin. I'm going to order stay away. And I don't know, the 7840 Roswell Road, is that not the residence for Miss Martin?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is her residence? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I'm going to order stay away from that location for the defendant. I am not going to order any third-party transfers or contact with the child KR. Actually, I'm going to include him in the no further contact at this time. If you want to apply, Mr. Watson, for a bond modification, you can do that. But right now, it's no further contact with the mother and the child. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I believe that is all. Anything else, counsel?
No, Judge, that's it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Good to see you.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Position number 12.
Position number 9 is next, please.
Am I doing 9?
9, yes, Judge.
Okay.
Taylor. You already is.
This is Jessica Lomax. In courtroom 3, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Jessica Britton. I've told several people that when they booked me in at the other jail, I was with a coworker and she gave him my dad's last name is Lomax Critton, and no one has changed it. They haven't changed my birthday or anything. I've been telling them since Monday.
All right, let me read this case number first, and then I'm going to ask you a question. 23 CR 000-669B. And you're booked in as Jessica Lomax. Tell me what your name is.
Jessica Critton,
Spell that last name.
Critten. I also told it to the attorney that called earlier. I told her the same thing.
Okay, and I'm sure Ms. McLeod, you're representing her, correct, Ms. McLeod? She will
Yes,
add
Your
to
Honor.
it. All right, thank you for telling me, and I will hear from your attorney shortly. But I will note that it's Jessica Critton. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery and a 2nd count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Both of those carry the offense date of January the 30th, 2023. Pre-trial.
Yeah,
Your
10
pre-
total.
Okay. And so pre-trial, you have the correct name?
Yeah, I got the correct stuff.
Okay.
She got 10 total between New Jersey and
There's someone who's not
that's
muted.
courtroom 3.
Okay.
Between New Jersey and Georgia. All right, so last arrest was back in June out of Gwinnett. Simple battery, family violence. Appears to be open. February 2022 out of Gwinnett. Simple battery, battery DV. Criminal damage to property 2nd degree. Those were indicted. 2018 obstruction, disorderly conduct, simple battery conviction. 2016 giving false name conviction. 2014 FTA for battery and simple battery. This came off of a 2012 trespass DV, damage to property and simple battery. Last arrest in New Jersey was 2011, hindering oneself. That was a conviction. Guilty for eluding an officer from 2009. That's it. And she got 2 warrants. She got 2 holds. She got 1 out of Dunwoody and 1 out of Lawrenceville. They both FTA warrants. One of them FTA disorderly conduct, the other one FTA for assault. That's it.
All right. All right, thank you. ASG Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred January 30th, 2023, where officers responded to the Longhorn Steakhouse at 2430 Piedmont Road Northeast, where it was relayed to them that the defendant got into a verbal altercation with other patrons at the bar, during the time of which the victim, Mrs. Patricia Smith, tried calming the defendant down, and as a result, the defendant got in her face and yelled explicit words and pulled her wig off. Longhorn staff and other patrons tried to separate the two, to which is when the defendant began threatening to cause physical harm to everyone in the restaurant. When officers arrived, the defendant refused to provide her name and date of birth. So for those reasons, coupled with the history of multiple battery, family violence, and simple battery arrests, the state is recommending $6,000 surety bond, $5,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the willful obstruction, a stay away order from Longhorn Steakhouse at 2430 Piedmont Road, and a no further contact with Patricia Smith.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client is 29 years old. She tells me that she has worked for some time as a waitress. She has no issue with the stay away from the Longhorn location or from the alleged victim. My client tells me that she was eating at this particular restaurant and she saw a homeless man and she decided that she was going to buy him a meal. So she brought him inside the restaurant with her and was paying for his food, and a number of the patrons who were in the restaurant took objection to that and started to harangue her. She and this particular alleged victim got into a verbal dispute, and she says that the victim was the one who attacked her and she was merely defending herself, Your Honor, because they seemed, according to her, to feel that she should not have brought this homeless person into the restaurant, even though she was paying for him to eat. My client lives alone, she tells me, except that she has a dog. She has a companion dog, which she needs because she does have some illnesses, and this is a therapeutic dog that she has. She tells me her dog is all alone. She doesn't have anyone to go and take care of her dog, Your Honor, and she is very concerned that her animal may die. It was certainly it's going to be in a pretty bad situation because she has been locked up and she hasn't had anyone to go to take care of her animal. While I understand that my client does have some history, Your Honor, this was a stranger to stranger encounter, and her version of the facts seemed to make some sense. I would ask the court to take into consideration her circumstances and the fact that she has significant illnesses. She tells me that she has heart condition and so on, and that's why she has this animal, Your Honor, to give her a reasonable bond that she can post so she can get out of jail, take care of her animal. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may, I was just notified the victim may be on the Zoom. If we could call for her when you get a chance.
All right. Is Miss Patricia Smith on the Zoom? Patricia Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're showing as iPhone?
Yes, ma'am. I tried to type in my name, but I didn't want to keep doing too much because I didn't want it to hang up.
All right. Would you like to address the court today?
Oh, sure. Actually,
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on. That was a yes or no question. If you would like to address the court, then I will swear you in. And then again, this is not a trial. This is a bond hearing. And so there's some limited information that I need from you, but I'm not going to try the whole case today. So
That's
raise
understandable.
raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. And are you in fear of Miss Critton, Jessica Critton?
No.
Okay, you're not. You can put your hand down. You're not in fear of her?
No.
Okay. And what else did you want to tell me about this incident?
I was sitting at the bar on one end, which I was close to the kitchen, eating my food. And yes, she did have her altercation with the waitress. So whatever she said to the waitress came to me to just check on me to see what I need. And I guess she thought, I don't know what happened. All I know is when the waitress came to me to talk to me to see do I need anything else, Miss Jessica and her friend, they started directing their energy towards me. And I didn't necessarily know it was towards me until she got up out her seat and came down to me, to the other end of the bar. And she started putting her hand in my face. So I grabbed both of her hands so she wouldn't hit me. So when I let her hands go, she hit me and she snatched my wig off.
Okay. All right. Any cross-examination, counsel?
Not from me, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Dillingham?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Smith. So you do not know the defendant, is that correct?
No, ma'am. I never seen her before at all.
Okay. Do you frequent the that Longhorn location?
Yes, I go to that restaurant very often, and I also work behind the restaurant at this establishment called Peachtree Hills Place.
Okay.
I'm a personal chef here.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. You can mute yourself. I'm going to give my ruling on the bond.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm going, excuse me. Ms. Critton, you have your hand up, but I'm sure your attorney is going to tell you to not say anything against your interest. And I haven't given my ruling yet, so I can't ask if you have a question about the bond conditions or not, because I haven't told you. So I'm sure you can wait and speak to your attorney later, okay?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to order the $6,000 surety bond. That'll be $5,000 on the simple battery. Excuse me. And $1,000 on the willful obstruction. I am going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Patricia Smith. And I'm going to order stay away from that Longhorn. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I don't even have no fucking with me.
Excuse me. I'm going to order stay away from the Longhorn at 2430 Piedmont Road. If you get out on bond, Ms. Critton, please do not go back there while you're on bond. I'm also going to, I think that's all I'm going to order. Stay away, no further contact with the victim, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor, but my business is concluded before the court today. May I be excused?
All right, good. Have a good one.
Thank you, Your Honor. Same to you.
All right.
I have a question. I'm sorry. I have
Yeah.
disorderly conduct.
A third charge?
We did
That
have.
was,
No
that was dismissed, Your Honor.
Yes, we had that.
Thank you.
this morning.
Because it was a lie. All of this was a lie.
All right, so we just have the two charges right now.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Position number 7 is next, please.
Okay. This is 23 CR 0000664D. Shondell Jackman, you charge at 1 count of theft of services. Offense date January 31st, 2023. Pretrial.
Third arrest, 2017, 2019 suspended license conviction. She was recommended. You heard me?
I did.
And that was the only one that was recommended, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right, Ms. Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on January 31st at 8030 Sonoya Road in Fairburn, which is the Diamond Nails and Spa. Officers responded to this location and spoke with Shayla Fan, who is the manager. Fan stated that Jackman came to the location requesting a pedicure, which she did receive. Jackman was informed that the pedicure would be $65, and when she provided her card for payment, the card declined. Jackman stated that she had no other way to pay for the service. Officers then spoke with Jackman and stated that she checked her account balance prior to arriving and had enough to pay for this service. And the officer then advised her to check the account again, but Jackman kept stalling. Another customer at this location said that she recognized Jackman and that she has done this before at other locations. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and to stay away from this location. Nothing further.
All right.
Your Honor, we have no objection.
All right, I'm gonna order the $1,500 surety bond through pretrial. I'm sorry, signature bond through pretrial. $1,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm gonna order a stay away from, is it 8030 Sonoya Road?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's a nail and spa shop.
Diamond Nails and Spa.
Diamond Nails and Spa. Was there any no further contact provision or no?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So Ms. Jackman, as long as you stay away from the Diamond Nails and Spa, you will be complying with your bond conditions. If you go back there, you'll be rearrested. All right. That should conclude this case if counsel doesn't have anything else.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you.
Position number 12.
This is 23 CR 0000662C, Jonathan Rice, charge of 1 count of simple assault, family violence, offense date January 31st, 2023. Pretrial.
I'm gonna defer to the state on the history, because the file I have look like it's incomplete.
Oh, it's empty?
It's just a bunch of IQs. That's GCIC talk, but it's just a bunch of nothing. But they didn't put anything on here to let me know whether or not he actually has a history. So
Gotcha.
I'll defer to them.
All right, state, what do you have?
Your Honor, I didn't have anything in GCIC as well. I had no
Okay.
priors.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred January 31st, yesterday, 2023, where officers responded to a domestic dispute at 5553 Julian Place, which is the residence of the victim in this case, Deanna Rice. The victim is in the process of a pending divorce litigation with the defendant. And at this incident, the defendant began harassing the victim regarding this pending divorce and got in her face yelling explicits, then began knocking over shelves and throwing items in her direction. We did speak with Miss Rice, and she stated that she is in fear of her life and safety. And for that reason, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with Miss Deanna Rice, a stay away order from her address 5553 Julian Place, and third party contact for their 3 children.
All right, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Rice is, he was born 1982, which makes him 45 years old. He has been married to Miss Deanna. They have 3 children, 2 years old, 6 years old, and 8 years old. He is gainfully employed here in Georgia as a software engineering director. He worked there for more than 15 years. He has a bachelor's degree. He has a very stable, high income. So he will not be qualified for, public defender services after this bond hearing. However, Your Honor, this is his first arrest ever. So we would like to request for a signature on bond. There was no violence whatsoever. It was a verbal altercation, and my client denies the allegation. Actually, in the past, he was the one who was attacked, and it was she was the one who was violent in the past, but he did not want to bring that up. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond. My client has no objection to no further violence, no further contact, and stay away from that location, as long as he has third-party transfer for his child. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to order a $2,500 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Deanna Rice. I'm going to order stay away from 5553 Julian Place. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And if visitation is allowed, third-party transfer, they will have to find some third party to do the transfer, so the parties will continue to remain apart to comply with the other bond conditions. Anything else, counsel?
Yes, may he have a one-time law enforcement officer escorted visit to retrieve his personal belongings?
Yes, I will order that, a one-time law enforcement escort to the property to retrieve his personal items. So, Mr. Rice, you cannot go back to that property unless you have that police escort with you, and I will allow that one time. Not for sure if your counsel is going to want you to ask a question unless it only has to deal with the bond conditions.
I will call you and explain to you, please. You have the best bond you can possibly get, I'll call you and explain. You have a right to remain silent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position 1 and 2. Mr. Allen.
Okay. This is positions 1 and 2. Case numbers 23 CR 0000653C and 23 CR 0000654C. The first case ending in 653C. Allen is charged with a 1 count of battery family violence, 2nd count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Second case ending in 654C. He's charged with 1 count of battery family violence. First offense date, January 31st. The second one, July 28th, 2022. State, are these the same victims?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, pretrial.
This is the 3rd cycle of arrest. Last was 2021 DUI out of DeKalb. He's on probation for that. He should get off probation for that next month. 2009 burglary, he got first offender. That's it.
Okay. All right, ASG Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. This is 2 separate incidences. So on July 28th, 2022, officers responded to 490 Glen Street Southwest to a dispute call and met with Jasmine Welch. Welch stated that she got into a physical altercation with her boyfriend after an argument they were having. Welch stated that Allen threw her into the wall and then proceeded to hit her face against the wall, which caused a visible bruise above her right eye. Welch stated that Allen also punched her in the stomach, and it is to note that at that time she was 4 months pregnant. Allen fled the scene before the officers arrived. Then shortly after, on January 31st, 2023, officers respond once again at the same location and spoke with Welch. Welch stated that she and Allen were in a verbal argument that turned violent. Welch stated that Allen punched her in her right eye, knocked her onto the bed, causing her to fall on their 2-month-old baby, and then began to choke her. Welch suffered a red eye and bruising to the right side of her neck. Welch stated that Allen also attacked her on October 15 of 2022, but she did not report that one, and she was still pregnant at that time. Your Honor, we understand that the defendant doesn't have that many cycles, but because of the nature of these offenses, the state is recommending a total $17,500 surety bond. That's $5,000 on the battery for the case ending in 654C. I believe that's the right number, excuse me. And then also a $10,000 surety bond for the battery family violence and $2,500 for the cruelty to children, excuse me. So that's a total of $17,500. No further contact, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, 1 day of anger awareness, and no third-party contact with the child. Nothing further.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor, we don't have any objection to no further contact. Based on my conversation with Mr. Allen, he was unaware we were unaware that both of these warrants were coming forward at the same time. He does have another address he can go to, 619 Morningside Drive, North Stockbridge, Georgia. The address of the alleged incident, the 490 Glen Street, is where his name is on the lease. So we are asking, we do ask that there is no stay away so he can go back to that address once she leaves, since her name is not on the lease. But if the court orders a stay away, we would just ask that he's allowed to go back to the residence at least once with the police escort to remove his belongings. Additionally, Your Honor, Mr. Allen denies the allegation. He informs me that he has videos of the accusing witness acting violently towards him. Of course, that's not information that we can present at this hearing, but we do stand on his presumption of innocence this morning for both of the charges that he has. Before he was arrested, he is doing freelance plumbing work And he also graduated from Culinary Arts and Video Production School at the Institute of Atlanta. All of his family lives here in Georgia. He was born and raised in Georgia. He does not appear to have more than 1 or 2 FTAs. As you heard, he has a brief history. So we have no reason to believe that he will not come to court when he is sent his notice. So we're asking the court, based on his job and his ability to afford bond, $17,000 surety bond would just be out of his capability to afford. So we're asking the court for a signature bond on his charges. But if the court is not inclined to give a signature bond, we're asking for no more than $2,000 good bond per charge.
All right.
And Your Honor, I'm not sure if Ms. Welch is actually on the Zoom today, but if she is, we'd like to sound for her this time.
All right, Jasmine Welch. Jasmine Welch. Don't think she's on. All right, go ahead, PD, is it Singflex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm complete, Your Honor. I have nothing further.
Okay. All right, so the state's, let me see if I can get this straight with the 2 cases. The state's recommendation on case number 1 was 1,750 surety bond or signature bond?
No, ma'am, we recommended a total of 17,500 surety. That is 5,000 for the case ending in 654C. And then in 653C, that's 10,000 for count 1 and 2,500 for count 2.
All right. In the first case ending in 653C, I'm going to order a $1,500 surety bond with 1,000 on the first case and 1,000 on the first charge, battery, family violence, 500 on the cruelty. So that's a total of 1,500 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And a stay away. And I did not write down the address. Is that 490 Glen Street?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stay away from 490 Glen Street and no further contact with Jasmine Welch. That's for the first case. For the second case ending in 654C, I will also grant a $1,000 surety bond. I will also add no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Stay away from 490 Glen Street Southwest, and no further contact with the victim, Jasmine Welch. So for both cases, it's $2,500 surety bond.
Your
And
Honor.
no drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond. Yes.
Excuse me. Are we including no further contact with the child as well?
Oh, I'm sorry, I left off the child. What are the initials?
AA.
Okay. And no further contact with AA. It's a minor child. I'm just going to stick to the no further contact at this point. I don't know, I don't know if the parties resided together or anything. Do we have any of that information? If Mr. Allen needs a one-time escort to retrieve any personal items, is that needed?
Yes, Your Honor. If he would need a one-time police escort to retrieve his items.
All right. I will grant that in both cases. All right, anything else, council?
Nothing further.
Nothing
Your Honor.
further.
All right. What do we have next, Deputy?
Courtroom 2, you muted.
I'm sorry, position number 3.
Okay,
That's it. Judge, this is the first arrest.
okay.
Your Honor, we're requesting a breakout room for this case. For me and whichever attorney is representing him, as well as the victim in the case, who is Eloise Attal.
The victim is whom again?
Eloise Attal or Attal, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, I apologize.
And where is the victim?
If they are on the call, and then also Deputy Falk as well, please.
Oh, I see.
I would like to be invited as well, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge, is the victim on the call?
Think the victim's mother is on the call.
And that's
Miss,
Sean.
We are not requesting the mother in the breakout room, Your Honor.
okay, just ASG Lewis, Deputy Falk, PD Kim, and myself.
PD.
Oh, is
Clarissa
PD
as well.
Sanaflex?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Bridgewater.
And Your Honor, we would request the client's mother in the room.
I need to hear what it's about. I don't usually do that. I do see that State, do we need the victim's mother?
No, Your Honor. We
For
object to
us, Your
that.
Honor, it's the bond conditions, if they're requesting a stay away, that's where he lives. And so we would be requesting that she's allowed to speak as to his bond conditions.
And Your Honor, she'll still have an opportunity to speak, just not in the breakout, and we need to address some issues in the breakout.
Right. I would rather not have the victim's mother in the breakout. I'll come back on the record to state what my bond ruling is, as well as the conditions. And if I have some questions, I'll determine at that time whether I need to go back off live stream or not. But hold on, let's get the counsel in there first. All right, so we're ready to go to breakout. Miss Grace. All right, we're back from the breakout. Back on the record. I understand that again, this is 23 CR 0000655E State versus John Attell. And I understand that the victim's mother wanted to briefly address the court. Miss Yulene. See, she's
Hi, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened to my video, but can you guys hear me?
I can't let you speak if I can't see you.
Okay, David, do you want to start? Well, hold on. I don't know where my video went. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Seriously, hold on. I don't know how to get the. Can you hear me? No.
We can hear you, but I cannot speak with you or allow you to speak if I cannot see you, because I'm gonna need to
Okay,
swear
Your
you
Honor,
in.
can you give me 2 seconds to rejoin the Zoom? I don't know what happened.
All right, hurry.
All right.
You're not muted. I can still hear you breathing.
I
So
know,
be
I'm-
careful with that. The dad is on, I believe, as well.
Yes,
Is he on a different Zoom or he's there with you?
he's there right now. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, if I can't see him or can't see you, neither of you can speak.
Okay, I'm coming back on right now.
Okay.
I can see him, so I don't know why you can't, but.
Oh, I see. Is that David's iPhone?
Yes, that's David Attell. That's Johnny's dad.
Okay. All right, Mr. Attell. Can you
Yes.
unmute? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. Sometime I look at all these screens and they all go blur for me, so I apologize. Would you like to briefly address the court?
Well, yeah, I mean, what Sean and I want the court to know is that.
Hold on a
John-
second, I'm gonna swear you in.
Yes.
Were you there at the time of this incident?
The mom and I were not there, but we were there when the police was there.
Okay, so be very careful with that.
I
Because
won't
this is
speak- I won't speak
not
to-
the trial. This is a
Right,
bond
right.
hearing.
Right.
So raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm? And I see, mom, pronounce your last name.
Eline.
Eline. Yes, both of you. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay, put your hands down. And I do understand, in giving my, bond ruling, that the parents live separate. You both have separate addresses.
Yes.
And I do understand that, John can go stay with, dad, and then the victim, Eloise, will stay with mom. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's what I'm most concerned about, is obviously the safety of the victim while John would be on bond. And so I've made some decisions about that based on what I've heard in the breakout. And I understand it's his first arrest, so I will cut a little bit to the chase to tell you I'm going to give him a signature bond so that he can get out, as
Thank
long
you.
as he will stay away from his sister right now. So is there anything else that the parents would like to add for me to consider? Even though I am going to give him a signature bond to get out.
No, I
that's-
appreciate that. Just, again, he's never been arrested. These were 2 kids at home fighting, and neither David and I were there to supervise. And I feel like if we had been, this wouldn't even have happened. So thank you for considering that.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is add on a 1-day anger awareness course, just in case, so that John can get a handle on his emotions when things get out of hand with siblings. It happens every day. But I'm going to add that on to my ruling. So let me say this is going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Since John is 18, he can sign for himself. He doesn't need a co-signer. And I'm going to make that $3,000. So if he violates any conditions and is rearrested, then it would be a $3,000 bond. There will be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. No further contact with Eloise Attell right now while he's on bond. So John, you're not to communicate with your sister at all, okay? And make sure that you stay away from her. Don't engage her by email, social media, or any other third parties, or don't say, Mom, send a message to her, Dad, send a message. No contact. We need the cooling off period to occur. And let's see, council, have I left off anything? Oh, well, I'm going to have a stay away from the 6698 Ridge Mill because he's going to be staying at a different location. Make sure your attorney or the court has that address to put in for the defendant, that it is different from the victim's address. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Is Dad allowed to come over and get Johnny's personal things? We don't need an officer to do that or anything, do we?
Yes, I don't think so. Dad just go get his clothing and things of that nature. And I won't order a police escort. And I agree. It doesn't sound like you all need that. But
No.
yes, yeah, Dad doesn't have a stay away. It is just John.
Okay.
So that's fine.
And then one question, if I want to see my other kids, and can we switch, or that's not allowed?
Switch meaning what?
That I get to see my daughter and my son?
Typically, I would have the kids during the week and they would go to Dad on the weekend. So now, my kids, my other two kids, Eloise and Luke, will be staying with me during the week. Am I allowed to have Johnny maybe one day on the weekend and the other children go to Dad? Or would you rather?
Well, right now I've ordered a stay away for John from your address. I think we're not going to switch at the moment.
Okay.
If things blow over a little more later, ask your attorney to apply for a bond modification. But I don't want the switch at the moment. But if Dad wants to see the other children come over to your house, not them going the other way for the moment. I want to make sure things have cooled down.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Nope.
No,
All right. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Position
All
number
right. Ms. Bridgewater, you're muted, but did we get all that? I added on that.
That 1 day anger awareness, I had it.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
Mhm.
All right.
Position number 5.
Okay. This is 23 CR 000660B. And I'm sorry if I'm going to mispronounce his last name. I think it's Depstikar. Charge of 1 count of simple battery, family violence, 2nd count of hindering persons making an emergency telephone call. The offense date is June 26, 2022. Pre-trial?
Your Honor, we also will need a breakout room for this one as well after, I'm assuming, the history.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I call someone else and we can move his case to the end of the calendar?
That'll be fine.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, you can go sit right there. Position number 8. Chips.
Okay.
Kuldeep came to this and no. Yeah.
This is 23 CR 000665B. Nicholas Kipsang, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. The offense date is January the 31st, 2023. Pre-trial.
This 5th arrest. You got a 2021 arrest, failure to remain at the scene of an accident out of Indiana. He was arrested on the 7th of this month by Marta for trespass. I think he got time served. November trespass out of Marietta, that was dismissed. Another November arrest, trespass dismissed. That's it.
Okay. All right, and you all want to go to a breakout now?
Not for this one, Your Honor.
Oh, that's right, we switched, I'm sorry. All right, ASG Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. This
Okay.
incident occurred on January 31st at 70 Hamilton E. Holmes Drive, which is the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station. Officers approached Kipsing and asked if he was planning to board the train, to which Kipsing said no. Officers informed Kipsing of the no loitering policy, which MARTA has, and then asked him to leave. The officer gave Kipsing a little while to get himself together, but once the officer returned, Kipsing was still standing near the fare gate. The officer gave Kipsing several commands to leave, and Kipsing ignored them all. After placing Kipsing in custody, the officer discovered that Kipsing has 4 pending MARTA suspensions, with the latest expiring on June 2nd of 2024. Your Honor, the current MARTA suspensions in place, one was issued January 6th of this year, effective February 5th and expiring February 19th. There's also one that was issued on the 7th of this year, effective March 21st, effective through April 4th. There's one that was issued on the 25th of January, effective April 4th through June 3rd. And then the last was issued on the 27th of last month, effective June 3rd through June 2nd of 2024. Because of this, the state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, to stay away, and then to abide by all of the MARTA suspensions. Your Honor, also in case 23 CR 000-123B, he's violating, of course, the bond conditions of that, which was a criminal trespass case, staying to stay away from the MARTA locations. Nothing further at this time.
All right.
Yes.
Sandra Flex.
Yes, Judge. I did speak to Ms. Kipsing about where he intended to go upon release. He did inform me that there was a shelter that he believed that he could go to, and that he would have a bed there. He also informed me that he did, complete high school. Right now, he's in and out of his housing, so he doesn't have stable housing situation. But we would just ask the court for a signature bond. He's not working right now, so he's unable to afford a surety bond. But if the court is inclined to not grant a signature bond, we would just request the $1,000 surety bond.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order that $1,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from all MARTA and to comply with the suspensions that are in place. So Mr. Kip saying you need to use Ubers or cabs or something else to get around, any other type of ride shares, but you cannot use MARTA while you're on bond. As soon as you step on any of the MARTA premises, you will be arrested. All right, is that clear? Okay, I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I believe that should be it, counsel. Is that correct?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
Okay.
Okay. Position number 10, Your Honor, Mr. Mack.
Okay. This is 23 CR 000-658J, Rodney Mack. You're charged at 1 count of criminal trespass. Offense days January 31st, 2023. Pre-trial.
42 total. History out of Ohio and Wisconsin. Last arrest was on the 13th of this month.
I mean, January.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot it's the first. January 13th, trespass. June, theft by taking. June, possession of drug-related objects that was dismissed. 2019, possession of drug-related objects, misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Those were convictions. 2018, entering auto arrest. 2016, parole violation. 2015, entering auto conviction. Got another parole violation, 2011. 2009, entering auto and simple battery conviction. Another 2009, entering auto conviction. 07, same thing. as well as 06 and a parole violation. The history out of Ohio goes back to the 90s. So, yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay.
2016 out of Wisconsin, operating vehicle without consent, possession of drug paraphernalia. That's it.
All right, thank you. ASG Dillingham.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred yesterday, January 31st, 2023, where officers responded to Bedford Pines apartment complex located at 529 Boulevard Northeast. There, they were notified by the complex representative that the defendant was found sleeping in the hallway after being issued a criminal trespass warning a few months prior on September 9th, 2022. Further, as pretrial mentioned, there was a previous January 13th criminal trespass arrest that was from the same apartment complex, and that order was issued on January 14th, 2023 with conditions of a stay away from that address, and that was by Your Honor. So for that reason, we would ask that we would recommend a $1,500 surety bond, a stay away order from Bedford Pines complex.
Okay. All right, PD Kim.
Yes, Mr. Mack is 62 years old, and this is actually poverty crime. He is residentially challenged. He does not have a place to go. He thought he was going to have a court hearing for that apartment stay away today, and apparently this is what happened. He's been here in Georgia for the last 30 years. He's from Ohio, and he has gainfully employed for the last 3 weeks working as a line cook at Brewdog, and he wants to keep that job because he really wants to have his own life together. He's trying to get housing resources. He wants to continue his work. Your Honor, he worked as a line cook for a long time. He also served at the Navy from 1980 to 1988. He was discharged honorably. He also has an associate degree. And Your Honor, we would like to request for another signature on bond, but I do understand that considering the fact that there was past history on January 13th and for the same apartment complex, we would like to request for maximum $250 good bond. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to order $1,500 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from the Bedford Pines apartment complex on Boulevard. Stay away from the whole complex. Mr. Matt. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that should conclude this matter. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing.
Your Honor.
All right.
Sorry, Your Honor. Can you repeat that amount again?
That's a $1,500 surety bond.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next we have position number 11, Mr. Minor.
This is 23 CR 0006618, Dominique Minor, charged with 1 count of theft by taking. Offense date August the 17th, 2022. Pretrial.
This is fourth arrest. Previous 3 come out of Pennsylvania. Well, previous 2 anyway. 2013 simple assault, resisting arrest. He was convicted for the simple assault. 2013 aggravated assault, simple assault, recklessly endangering. Simple assault was a conviction. The ag was dismissed. The reckless was dismissed. He was arrested January 30th for misdemeanor possession of marijuana. He went to the city jail for that one. So yeah, this is fourth arrest.
Okay. All right. ASG Dillingham.
Yes, Your Honor. The incident in question occurred August 17th, 2022, where officers were dispatched to Taco Mac, located at 933 Peachtree Street Northeast. There, when they arrived, they learned from the manager of the establishment that the defendant was caught on camera taking $420 from the cash register and leaving. The state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond and a stay away order from the Taco Mac at 933 Peachtree Street Northeast.
All right. PD.
Kim, Your Honor.
Kim. Oh, yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Minor is 34 years old, and Your Honor, he worked at Taco Mac about 4 to 5 months, and he is right now working at Waffle House as a supervisor. He completed up to 11th grade, and he is currently trying to finish up his GED, and he also paid down that $420 with the money that he's making from Waffle House. We would like to request for a signature on bond. This is his first offense in terms of any kind of like theft by taking. Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond so he can take care of his 3 minor children who are 1, 6, and 10 years old. Your Honor, he has been here in Georgia for quite a bit, even though he was born in Pennsylvania. If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for maximum $1,000 to bond. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to order a $2,500 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order stay away from the Taco Mac at 933 Peachtree Street Northeast. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And glad to hear he's paid back the money. And I guess that will be it for now.
Thank you.
All right.
Position 13, Rickman.
Your Honor, I would like to request for a breakout room for this case.
We can go to the other position, position number 15, because
Okay.
required a breakout.
And Your Honor, if I may, I would object to a breakout room for this case. We do believe.
I'm going to consider that. Let's go to 15th. I think we'll have 2 cases left at the end.
Mr. Solano?
Yeah, Solano, is that how you pronounce it?
How you pronounce it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Solano?
This is case number 23 CR 0000659A. Danny Solano, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and a 2nd count of simple battery, family violence, both with the offense date of January 31st, 2023, pretrial.
This is 12th adult arrest. On probation, possession of a weapon, possession with intent to distribute. They gave him 3 years probation for that in 2021. Let's see. Got a 2015 trespass, cruelty in the 3rd, probation violation. 2015 battery DV conviction. 2014 probation, another 2014 probation. 2013 probation, 2014 failure to appear, 2012 probation. Those were dismissed. What else we got? Got a 2019. Okay, the 2019 was the possession of a weapon. That was by the feds. That's it.
All right. ASG Dillingham.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred yesterday, January 31st, 2023, where officers responded to a domestic dispute at 2825 Hemingway Lane in Roswell. There, they learned that the defendant choked the victim, Callan Guerra. The defendant also grabbed the victim, Callan Guerra, by her neck and slammed her down on the couch. Ms. Guerra was able to get away from the defendant and call 911. And upon arrival, officers were met by the victim's father as well, who had advised that Ms. Guerra had texted him, asking him for help at about 1 a.m. Because she was scared the defendant was going to kill her. When officers detained the defendant, he refused to give his name and birth and instead stated that he was a sovereign citizen. And Your Honor, for those reasons, in addition to the defendant's lengthy history, he also had a battery family violence conviction in 2015 and a simple assault family violence conviction in 2015. Your Honor, for those reasons, the state is concerned of a risk of reoffending, as Ms. Guerra has stated that she is in fear for her life if the defendant gets out on bond. The state would recommend a $10,000 surety bond, $2,000 for the obstruction charge, and $8,000 for the battery charge. A stay away order from the address 2825 Hemingway Lane, no further contact with Callan Guerra, and a third party contact for their child. They do have a child together.
All right. PB Kim?
Yes, Mr. Solano is 30 years old. He has been here in Georgia for the last 20 years. Your Honor, my client exercised his constitutional right to remain silent. And because he remained silent, he was charged with willful obstruction of law enforcement officer. So we would like to request for definitely for signature on bond for this particular obstruction charge because he was actually exercising his constitutional right. He should not be punished for that. Your Honor, my client denies the allegation. He was not choking his fiancée. They live together. They have 2 children together, 8 and 4. He's a sole provider for those 4 of them, including himself. He has been working as a construction worker and artist for the last 15 years after he completed his GED successfully. Your Honor, he is not qualified for public defender services, so my representation will end at the end of this bond hearing, and we would like to request for signature on bond. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of his remote past history from 2015, almost 8 years ago, we would like to request for maximum $1,000 good bond. We have no objection to stay away and no further contact with Ms. Guerra. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to order the $10,000 surety bond, $8,000 on the simple battery, $2,000 on the willful obstruction. I'm going to order a stay away from 2825 Hemingway Lane in Roswell. Going to order no further contact with Kaylin Guerrera. And if she allows visitation, it must be done by a third party. Transfer, not the parties themselves. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that shall be it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I know deputies, we have what, 5 and 5 and 13.
Position number 6, Mr. Hunt.
Okay,
And then
I
5
see.
and 16 are the 2 that you needed for the breakout.
Okay,
So, position number 6, Mr. Hunt is next.
okay. 23 CR 0000663E, Thomas Lee Hunt Jr. You're charged with 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property. The offense date is 3/28/2022. Pretrial.
24 total. Last arrest was 2016, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, possession of cocaine. 2012 trespass, 2011 FTA sale of marijuana, 2009 probation for battery, 08 probation. He was convicted for battery in 08. He went to felony earlier. He got an $18,500 good bond in that case. That's it.
All right. That's it?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, ASG Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on March 28th, 2022 at 931 McDaniel Street, which is Pure Fire Protection. Officers responded to a theft call at this location and met with Stephen Ralph, who is either the manager or an employee at this location. Ralph stated that a riser valve, which is a part of a fire sprinkler, was stolen from this location. This is a part that was intended to be used for a sprinkler system being installed. The items were new in the box, and he stated that the items were last seen at the location outside stacked on a pallet. Ralph stated that he and another employee of Pure Fire went to SA Recycling, which is located at 598 Wells Street, and were able to locate the stolen items, which had been sold the same day as the theft. Mr. Hunt was identified because he provided his driver's license during the sale of the stolen good. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and to stay away from this location. Nothing further.
All right.
Judge, we would just ask that the signature bond is through the jail for Mr. Hunt. He does have a mom who lives here. He informs me that he does have a room that he may lose Friday if he's not out by then, but he's been having steady housing, working different jobs, and he's been living in Georgia his whole life. So we have no objection to the bond. We just are requesting that it's through the jail.
And he's how old again?
I don't know his age. I want to say he's 40, 43. Mr. Hunt, how old are you?
44.
34?
44.
44, okay.
All right, and he's working at this location?
No, Your Honor, we have no issues with the stairway. So he's not working there. He's doing work for other people's side jobs, yard work, other stuff like that, but we have no issue with the stairway.
All right, so state with the $3,000 signature bond, I will grant that signature bond through the jail. I will order a stay away from, and give me that address again.
931 McDaniel Street.
And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else?
Nothing.
All right, that will conclude this case. Pretrial, can you give me the history on 5 and 13 before we go into the breakout?
Number 5.
Mm-hmm.
You got 10 total. He got a 2014 arrest out of Florida. Drug possession, misdemeanor possession of marijuana. Those were dismissed. One arrest out of Illinois, that was back in 01. Last arrest was 2021, terroristic threats. That was dismissed. 2020 trespass DV. 2020 possession of drug-related objects, trespass DV, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, battery DV. He ended up being pleading no low to simple assault, family violence. I want to say he's on probation. Hold on. Yeah, he's on probation for simple assault, family violence. He just got put on probation.
Is that the one with criminal trespass? Because I thought he pled the paperwork. I think I seen say he pled guilty to criminal trespass.
This is simple assault, family violence. It was trespass, family violence, amended to simple assault. That's what it says. Either way, he on probation.
Okay.
But yeah. So 2019 simple assault. Another 2019 simple assault. Before that was 2009 trespass. I'm not sure about if it's the same victim. Should have stayed to let you know that, but I didn't look anything else up. That's it.
Okay.
That one. Number, what's the other one? 13?
Number 13, yes.
We got 27 total. Previous out of New York City. Last arrest 2018, failed to appear. Another 2018, failed to appear. What are you charged with? Oh, okay. See if I see any violence. 2017, theft. 2016, fleeing. 16, failed to appear. 13. Last violence I see is an ag assault, 2 counts. There was no bill in 07. That's all I see as far as violence. But the New York stuff was I don't know, some general violation of local law, tampering with evidence and resisting arrest. So that's it for that one.
Okay. All right, we can, I see that I have on position number 5. Looks like I have, yeah, I have
That's his mother, Your Honor. That's the alleged victim, and she would like to speak this morning.
okay. 23 CR 000660B. Mr. Debstakar, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence, 2nd count of hindering a person making an emergency 911 call. Emergency telephone call. June 26, 2022 is the offense date. And so I understand we need to go into breakout.
Yes, Your Honor.
With or without the, I usually don't take my victim in there.
Without.
Okay. I'll, Miss Deb's car will be back in a second. We're going to a breakout, okay?
Okay, okay.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
All parties judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
কি করতে গেল বললো একটা।
Yeah, mute yourself, Miss Deb's car.
Yeah.
I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Yes.
No, that's okay. It's very hard to. Okay, so you want me to mute my laptop?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will do that right now. Hold on. Oh, come on. I gotta mute.
Your Honor, I just wanted to note something before we started. I think the prosecution said there was no one in the courtroom, but there does appear to be someone in the courtroom. So we would just note for the record that we waived sounding of the charge.
Who's in the courtroom? Who do we have in the courtroom?
Your Honor, we have position number 5 in front of you, and we also have position number 13, Mr. Rickman.
And I think
Right.
this simple-
Once we do position 5, we'll be cleared from the courtroom so that we can do 13 by himself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that
Your Honor.
will solve that, right? Let's do position 5 first. Position 5, 23 CR 0000660B. And we have discussed this case with Mr. Depskidar, and I apologize if we're mispronouncing the last name. And I understand that we have his mother, who is the victim. And you can unmute yourself, ma'am. Yeah, the little red microphone, if you could click that. Sit at the bottom. Usually, I shouldn't say that.
Mute.
All
Can
right,
you
there
hear
you
me
go.
now? Okay.
Yes, now we can
Okay.
hear you. All
Yeah.
right, do you wish to address the court briefly?
Yes, ma'am. This is
Hold
my
on one
son.
second. Hold on. I need to
Mm.
swear you in. Raise your right hand for me.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
This is my son, very caring person. The time incident happened, he was going through some depression, okay? And he gets like mad, and I called police that maybe they can come and warn him not to, yell at me or, something like that. But they came and, ma'am? They came and so he left home and they give warrant, which I didn't know. Later, when I knew, I called 911 many times to undo that warrant. And they say, well, this is gone to court. They cannot do nothing. So this has happened last June. And since then, my son is always home. He's working nicely now. And he's helping me so many things at home. He's a very caring person. I was last September, I was in serious COVID. Because of this son, I think I am alive today. Because I was not going to, hospital. And this is my son crying every night to take me to hospital. And, so I really want him to come home. So that's all I can tell you. He is doing very good job now, so please give him signature bond and ask him to come home. This is my request.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I think he is how old? I did not write it down.
Yeah, he is born in 79 September.
All right, let me do the math there. How old are you, Mr. Debskar?
43, Your Honor.
How old?
43.
43, okay. And I had given a ruling in our breakout while we were discussing your case so that I can determine what to do, but I also agreed with counsel for both sides to come back in and listen to the victim first to make my final or ultimate decision. And we certainly are glad Ms. Depsakar, that you are doing much better health-wise, and I understand, you know, how important it is to have someone in your family to help you. But what I want to be sure about, even though it's been, you know, some months since June, I want to make sure that you're still going to be safe, and that your son is going to continue with his medication and treatment, so that you will be safe and he will be safe toward you. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change what I had said. I'm going to order the $6,000 signature bond through the jail. That's 5,000 on the battery, 1,000 on the hindering of a person making a telephone call. And Mr. Depsakar, I'm going to be very, very frank with you. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do the signature bond. I'm a little hesitant about it, but it's on the condition that you continue taking your medication and your treatment, whatever that is, and stay stable to take care of your mom. Okay. And so I'm going to put that in the order that you've got to continue with that medication and treatment and take that every day or however it's prescribed. I'm going to order no further violent contact with your mother. You can stay there as long as you're not going to be violent. No other drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Okay.
No, I don't think he just smokes that cigarette. That's all, and drinks coffee several times. That's
okay.
Your Honor.
All right. Yes.
The state would ask that the signature bond be through pretrial just for monitoring.
Okay, I will change it. I will make it through pretrial per judge. So that he can be monitored, and he will need to report in as they instruct him to do. Okay.
Okay.
I will change it to make it through pretrial per judge. All right. That should conclude this case. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. We're ready for position 13. This is Niall Rickman.
Yes,
And
Your
this-
Honor.
Okay, 23 CR 000666G. Charge at 1 count of SB.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Can you give us a second? We try
Okay.
to make that.
Okay. Yes, you can sign off, Ms. Depsakar. You can close out.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I
Take care.
I can. Yeah. Same to you, ma'am. Same
All
to
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right. This is
This
is not. Can you close her out, Miss Grace?
Yeah. My husband is helping me.
Okay.
Yeah. He's closing. That's his laptop. Thank you so much.
We're still looking at your husband. There we go. Nope.
Okay.
Miss Grace, can you close them out, please? The cameras, okay.
That's it.
All right, I think they are gone.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So this is Niall Rickman, and it's 23 CR 000666G. You charge it 1 count of SB. And Mr. Rickman, we discussed your case in breakout, And we are back on the record. We do have your criminal history. And I am going to let the state make a statement first. And then I'm going to go ahead and give my ruling on bond, okay? Go ahead,
Thank you, Your
State.
Honor. This incident occurred on February 1st of 2022, where the victim, Danita Dias, reported that while staying at Peachtree Road United Methodist Church, she woke up to the defendant touching her genital area and buttocks outside of her clothing. She advised that this was not the first time or the first instance where the defendant had inappropriately touched her, and that he had been doing it to other patrons staying at that location. This is a location where people who are residentially challenged are able to stay. For that reason, Your Honor, the state is recommending a $7,500 surety bond, no further contact with Danita Diaz, and a stay away order from that location at 3180 Peachtree Road.
All right.
Your
Lady
Honor,
Karen?
yes, I would like to make a record. I would like to make an objection in the record that too explicit description is unnecessary at the YouTube when it's viral. I mean, you can be shown to everybody, but Mr. Na Rickman is 37 years old, and we would like to request for a signature on bond for the record, maximum $1,500 good bond. Thank you.
All right. And we're going to, now that I've heard everything, I'm going to order a $2,500 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the Peachtree Road United Methodist Church at 3180 Peachtree Street. Stay away from that location, Mr. Rickman. And I'm going to order no further contact with Danita Diaz. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I believe that will be it.
Your Honor, first I have been
Please, Mr. Rickman, you judge already made a ruling. You have a right to remain silent, and it is your constitutional right to protect you.
Yes, but I just want to say that I have been staying up. I'm a big basketball player in Illinois and Chicago and a rapper. Some people don't know, I think my daughter has signed a record deal, but anyway, anywho, I've been staying downtown. I've been staying downtown on Northside Drive. And sometimes I try to sleep outside because I got kicked out of my crib with my baby mother. And when I try to sleep, it feels like people will come around me and try to like push me toward walking over there. And
Please, I would like to strongly recommend you to stay silent, please. Mr. Rickman.
I would never.
Mr. Rickman, all I want you to do is to not violate the bond conditions. Don't get pushed over there. Don't go over there. Don't let anybody entice you to go there, because you will end up right back where you're sitting, the Fulton County Jail. So those are your bond conditions. If you get out and make bond, you're not to go back over there. Don't go near there. Don't go anywhere around there, because it's just not going to be good for you. But right now you have a $2,500 surety bond, and you are to stay away from that church and that facility. All right. All right. That will conclude this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We're completed here, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so are we ready to go over the calendar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be February the 14th. Position number 1 is reset to that SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. Position 2 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 3 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 4 is reset to the SAP calendar with a total $7,500 good bond. Position 5 reset further notice with a total $6,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 6 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 7, reset further notice with a $1,500 SOB through pretrial. Position 8, reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $6,000 good bond. Position 10, reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,500 good bond. Position 11, reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through the jail. Position 12, reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through the jail. Position 13 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,500 good bond. Position 14, SAP calendar with a total $8,000 cash bond. And position number 15 is going to the SAP calendar with the total $10,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, corrections, or otherwise?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
you too, Judge. This is
All right.
coming to you just a minute.